There are 3 types of men, toxic men, that women should never waste their time on. And we're going to just blanket this by saying it's easier said than done.
Sure. Is it me, Squid, and Jason?
No, shockingly, no.
Oh, okay.
Like it doesn't name you specifically.
Oh, okay.
But you might fall into one of the categories.
We'll be honest.
See.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think you might.
Okay.
I think you might fall into the category. The very first one, the toxic man that no woman should ever waste their time on, is the overachiever. The man who is
can't help
too
it.
This is not the one. This is
help it.
not the category for you.
Everything I do.
This is a jiu-jitsu champion here. Okay, a former jiu-jitsu champion.
Yeah.
He's an overachiever.
Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Taekwondo.
Excuse
Even
us.
better.
The Battle of Vicksburg.
In the 6th grade.
No, younger than that.
Oh.
The regional tournament, 7 states involved.
Okay.
Wow.
Again,
Overachieved from a young
That's
age.
like half the country.
No, I was doing fingertip push-ups when I was like 6.
if I were you, I wouldn't be putting yourself into this category.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the man who's too focused on his career, and this is not saying that women do not want a man who is hardworking. We all do, and the same goes for the other way. Like men want women who are hardworking as well. But this is the downside. This is the toxic part. Men, especially when they're young and they're overachievers, it's like the only thing that matters is the career and the money.
Oh, no.
And you will not get a commitment from this person. You will be, unfortunately, the afterthought. You're going to be that late night booty call because the things that matter to him and that are important come first during normal operating business hours.
So this is for like dating.
This is dating.
I
But
got
if you're younger and dating, sometimes that's the most crucial time for your career?
It is, but I think that you have to have the balance. I mean, you have to know, because here's what happens. The men, and we have seen this time and time again, the men that are so career driven and so money focused and that's all that matters to them and are making the booty call, it's like they typically realize that there's more to life and there are things that are way more important too late. And so then they're the ones that don't have a family or don't have a partner, and then they don't.
Or they had their
There's
first
nothing.
kid at
Is
like
that
50.
why you're
Right.
single?
No, that's
Is that
really,
why?
I think that's the women's fault. It's the women's fault.
Oh, really?
Because
Do
as
tell,
a man,
please.
as a man, you know that you have to have your status and your value to a woman is based on your career and your success and your wealth. So I have to focus
That
on
is not.
that.
Sometimes.
That is painting a very broad
I think
picture.
it plays
I
a
think
bigger
it's-
part than it should.
Yes.
Maybe to
Yeah.
some. And I did say that, yes, we want hardworking people. But when it is your only focus, you're going to find out too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be a 50-year-old dad
Mm-hmm.
for the first time.
You're going to find out, and who has the energy for that?
I know. And then your wife's like 25. So, ugh.
I know. Kids.
And then then eventually you're going to
Oh, no,
die.
Is that horrible? I don't know.
I'll tell you what's horrible when you die and then your kid has to grow up without a dad.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
there's
think
that.
if you have a kid at 50, your wife's 25, you'll have time. Look at,
Yeah.
Okay.
for the most part. Anybody could die any time.
Ladies, this is the toxicity we're talking about right here. This kind of mentality.
No, I do agree. Like, if you put
Yep.
everything before, but this is date. Yeah, it's tricky when you're dating.
but
yeah.
but you're dating. The point is that you're looking for a compatible partner.
Yeah.
And if you find somebody, or you think you find somebody that only calls you at 3:00 in the morning because they care more about their job and their status and their money, you cannot change that.
No, in one of my marriages,
Which one are we talking?
just one of them.
Oh, just one of them.
I would want it. They always give me crap that I definitely spent, but I mean, definitely family was super important. All that. I mean, there wasn't like in front, but felt that I thought this job was more important than anything else.
Well, there are certain
And I'm like,
responsibilities
I'm sorry, I
that we have to
take this email because the president of the United States is calling tomorrow, and I have to make sure this is lined up.
Oh, yeah. I think
Like
that's,
getting stuff like that
that's
where you have
too
this
much.
pressure where it's like, no, yes, our job is like we have content around us all the time, but
I think
wouldn't-
Katie's referring to something way over
Yeah.
the top than that.
Yes,
But I
this
got
is-
the
yeah.
pressure back, like, oh, you don't care about it. And I'm like, that's not true.
No, no.
Like, I have extra, I mean, especially our job with it's just so different.
I mean, Katie's basically referring to you never see the person
Yes.
ever,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden
dating.
at the last second you want
Right.
to hook up, and then you're just non-existent.
Yeah.
That's probably what she.
That is the
Oh, no, I
the
understand
toxic
that.
level.
I just felt that pressure. I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to do my job.
Well, yeah, and I think we're all guilty of. I mean, I certainly know for my husband who has his job is connected to him by his phone. I mean, because
Right.
everything he does is through his phone and sales and ordering and, constant. But every once in a while, I'm like, can we just put the phones down?
Yep.
Like we're not,
Yeah.
you're not, and maybe he, in this day and age, you are taking orders at 9:00 at night, or you are doing this, or you are doing that, or somebody gets around to you and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I missed the deadline, but here's the order. Can you play?" So yes, that kind of stuff happens, but you have to place a boundary on it, or it will just consume
It
you.
will take over your life.
It will consume you.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
but the toxic levels come in when it's you're dating, and then this is a guy who doesn't call you till 3 a.m. because it's like, "Oh, right, yeah, I think I would like to get some," but then tomorrow morning back on the grind.
Yeah, you're just transactional.
Yes. Another type of toxic guy that women should never waste their time on, the immature ones.
None in this room.
Yep, that's more of your category.
I see what she was talking
More
about.
of your category.
None in this room.
I'm surprised at that because sometimes immature people aren't so serious,
Well,
and it's more fun, and it's not. You can laugh at things that it doesn't have to be so structured.
this is tricky. This is why it's tricky, because typically the immature ones are more charismatic. They got that riz.
Yeah.
Don't I know it?
They got that riz.
Me and,
But,
me and Squid can't help it.
Yeah, can't help
It
it.
exudes
It's a
it.
gift and a curse.
here it comes, about to burst your bubble.
You can't. We're too rizzed out.
Bubbles impervious.
Too rizzed out.
I know it's hard to understand. Katie.
Yeah, it certainly is. The problem is that some of them
Yes.
can't take anything seriously, and everything's a joke.
What?
And that gets real old real quick.
Yeah. I have to tell myself, don't say that. Don't say that. I seriously, literally bite my tongue sometimes. Like, don't make the joke. Don't make. We're at a funeral. Stop.
Oh God.
Yep. Or you're in an argument, or somebody's coming to you and saying something that they really care about, and it's joke, and it's like, I hate you.
I know.
I hate everything about you.
How is that toxic though? I mean, it's still, they're just trying to be funny, and I don't know. It
Well,
seems-
this kind of guy, the immature guy, the toxic ones, waste women's time because they are the ones that have the excuses. They like to live in the moment, which is a good thing, but they like to live in the moment so much that they don't take on any sort of responsibility
Oh,
or pressure.
I see. Right.
These are toxic levels.
Right,
This
where
is-
like maybe you make commitments to go out that night and they just don't show up because
Exactly.
something else fun.
Yeah.
And don't worry about it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not a big deal.
No,
it's
you
not a
gotta-
big deal. Why is that a big deal? Why are you overreacting?
They're
Like,
not dependable.
exactly.
Okay, that
Yep.
makes sense.
And these are the most extreme, like the toxic level of immaturity, where they're not making plans with you because we'll just see where it goes. Just see how my night turns out.
Katie, have you ever been in somebody's sharing something with you, maybe your husband Ben or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're really serious, and you're actually listening to them, and you're taking what they're saying serious, but for some reason, like a look on their face makes you like want to start laughing? Has that ever happened to you? Or they say something and it triggers a thought of something funny, and you're like, I really care what they're saying. You're like, don't start smiling. Don't start smiling.
I mean, I'm sure.
I've done it before.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
the
sure.
worst.
Or they're arguing with you, but then they have bedhead.
Right. You're just
Can't
like,
take what you're saying seriously.
Little twig moving back and forth on top of the head.
and another thing, you're like,
Yeah.
you look silly.
Or they have food in their teeth.
Right.
Or yes.
Or just think of something stupid. You can't help it
Yes.
because you're human.
Yeah,
the
that has
worst.
happened. This guy, they typically seem so close to being the person you want to be in a relationship with because they're good looking or they have the
Yeah, I know.
charismatic personality,
Yep.
but it's going nowhere because they don't have to commit.
Yeah, I can see that.
They don't have to.
Oh,
And,
that's
yep,
just so and so. They're just fun.
right.
But then they're with like every woman, Yeah, I got you.
And these are also the ones typically that find out too late that they had a really great one and then they got tired of your crap.
Yeah.
And so it's like they found somebody that will take them seriously or that will, not all the time. It's not like we're serious women and it's just that not everything's a joke.
Right.
Not everything is a joke. And then finally, the type of toxic man that women should never waste their time on is the player. And lots of people will say, "Oh, well, players, you don't get labeled a player if you haven't done player things to women in the past."
This is the biggest one I see all the time. Women think that they're the one.
Yes.
The player is known to be, it's like a direct vouch because a lot of girls like him and because he's been with a lot of girls. So they think, well, that girl was, I want to be wanted by that guy. And I can change him
Right.
to really want me what I have to offer because she didn't. but the guy's playing the whole time, and that's that bad boy almost mentality. And it's like, well, the nice guy gets screwed.
Right.
The non-player gets screwed. The one that they know they can get and would treat them better, they're bored. They're bored. The challenge of getting the player to like them and to be wanted by that player.
And only them.
I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, raising children now, I see. I try to take things from my past and think about things that you want to say to your kids and like help them understand other human beings. One of the things that I constantly think of is when somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, that's a good rule of
And
thumb.
I think that a lot, and that was, I never believed that. I was like, I can be the one. I'm going to be the one that is going to be the change that they didn't know they needed.
Right.
Like I'm going to be the one that's going to turn their life around. You're not. You are never going to be that person.
Yeah.
And there are exceptions to every rule.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm sure that if we asked right now, there's going to be somebody who would call in and they would say, no, I did. This man changed for me. You are the exception to the rule.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
when somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb to live by.
And I only know because I've been there. And I have people but men I have dated or boys I have dated would have said, because we were a lot younger then, they would say, I don't want a girlfriend. No, they just didn't want me as their
Right.
girlfriend. And that was really painful. That's a painful thing to understand, but they said it to me.
They would say it, and then maybe you get mad at them because they're going out with other women. But they said, "But I'm not with you," and
Right.
so it's a confusing thing. Then I know a lot of women, at least in the past, that they would know the guy. They just wouldn't ask questions. They know, like, okay, it's Friday night. He didn't call me back. He's out with somebody else. But they don't want to ask him because then that would turn him off. That would maybe push him away.
Yeah, I don't want to.
So then they would let him just be with every woman around.
And if you don't ask, then you don't get the answer, so you don't have to hurt your own feelings.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want to know. I see that happen a lot. They don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
And
so
then they just are living a lie.
yeah, that is the advice that I do want to instill on my kids, that when somebody presents who they are, believe them, because they are telling you, and it might not be the nicest, but
Are we going to do toxic women tomorrow?
Oh, that's gonna be like a whole month.
hey,
Well, I didn't know if this was
I limited it to 3.
right.
I limited it to
three
three.
big ones. I
Just
didn't know
3.
you have 3 toxic womenens that men should avoid.
I sure
Women.
can. No problem.
We
Oh,
won't listen because all you have to do is be hot, and we don't care.
That is so
Exactly.
true, Matt.
I think that's very dangerous, though.
Yeah, it is.
And the fact that you didn't have that plan is surprising. That it was just
That's rather
the top
toxic of
3
you, Katie.
toxic men to avoid. When's it 3 toxic women?
Jason, I am trying to live more in the moment. Okay.
Yes.
And so I'm just taking it one step at a time. Just one step at a
Interesting.
time.
Yeah, so
You want it? I'll give you 3
Yes.
toxic women that all men waste their
For
time on.
Jared.
we'll do it tomorrow.
Sure. And Squid.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. There was a toxic one
It's
in
not
Savannah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's them.
Yeah, we say toxic kings, but we are not.
I think that, I mean, just to be fair, I know
Sure.
women can just be just as toxic and manipulating.
100%.
And I think sometimes, like Matt was right, a lot of times guys overlook the toxicity, the craziness,
The red
because
flags.
of the hotness. And sometimes the hotness correlates with the craziness because they're so hot, they just get what they want, even though that's not right. And sometimes the uglier girls are actually better girls, so it's a balance. It's how ugly can you get before you're
Jason goes,
Find you an
high
ugly.
can you go?
Jason,
Find you an ugly.
This is what Jason, this is the glaring thing that I hear. He goes, the nice guys get screwed. The ugly girls might be the ones you want.
Well, I think there's a balance. There's definitely this. How much toxicity are you going to put up with depending on the hotness?
And also, can I just say, for men and women, the sexy time, if you're having it, skews everything.
Yes, but for men particularly,
For women too.
if they're
Trust.
into the guy and they feel wanted by this, there's a difference.
But there's also the passion and the hotness and
Mm-hmm.
the yes. I mean, and those things will absolutely
But
skew any
you have
common
an
sense.
emotional connection. A lot of women tend to want emotional connection, and guys do too. At the same time, it could be a vacuum cleaner.
An apple
sometimes.
pie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they feel it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot.
don't know why we were made that way, Jared.
No, yeah, I have that same question.
Maybe that'll be your first question to the big man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think anyway, it's
very
probably
odd.
part of it is so that
procreate.
it almost force you into like procreation
Yes.
Well, I
and
think
marriage.
that was all of it,
The
right?
the drive.
That is all of
If
it.
you didn't have the,
yeah.
if you didn't have that drive, you just be like, oh, well,
Yeah, but with women, I wonder why
happy.
women are on a different page with it sometimes.
No, maybe it's the men who are on the different page.
Or-
Ever thought of
They're
that?
both different, yes.
Yeah.
If I say women are different than men, it's the same thing as saying men are different than women.
It is absolutely the whole reason, but it's become very skewed.
yeah.
It's like the procreation, and then it's all just become skewed.
It's
You know, like yeah,
so we'll do toxic women
sure,
segment tomorrow.
absolutely.
3 types. We'll limit it to
Do you
3.
want me to find them, or
oh,
you
no,
find them?
we'll find them.
Okay,
so
good.
you don't like
Really?
say
I won't.
I don't mind
you won't be
Katie.
like, oh, the one they just they
I
love
really
too
won't.
much.
Listen, if there's somebody,
Jason wants to do this segment.
Yeah.
You just offered him the chance to look it up, and he goes, Katie can do it.
Well, I think Katie will find it.
I will
True.
be fair.
Yeah.
I'd be fair
Yeah,
too.
I can identify a toxic woman from 1,000 miles away.
She's already been doing that for the past year.
Yes, I've been saying.
I can identify them too, whether I ignore it or not.
And then normally you marry him. It was right there.
It was right there.
It was
He
right
threw
there.
it up in the air.
It was
didn't
right
say
there, and Jared didn't
I
say
didn't
it.
say it, so I can't get in trouble. Thank
He'll
you.
step away from the camera shot in a few minutes and dap me up and go back
That
in.
is going to be awkward at your court case tomorrow.
It's today.
Today.
Oh, today.
Today. Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I might get a call sometime during the show
Yeah.
from my attorney. Said, "All right, you got to come right now."
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Court
'cause
watch.
It's a
Court watch.
conference or it's a not cold call. It's
Zoom?
something called a call where
Oh.
like you're basically on call.
Okay.
Do you actually have to go to the courthouse?
Yeah, the
And-
trial could start today.
Squid's
It's
gonna
a
go.
trial?
It's a trial,
Yeah.
a custody trial with witnesses and
No.
and evidence. I've
This
been
is like
sending
You're
evidence.
serious.
Kidding me.
This is out. It's so stupid.
It's a trial.
Yes.
So you're going to be calling witnesses to the stand.
Yes.
Jason, why do you think we wanted
I
to
have-
have people in the courtroom? Like we wanted to live stream it.
My God.
I would love it to be live streamed.
Yes.
I love my evidence.
Jason, he didn't put you on the witness list like he did the rest of us?
Weird.
Fine. That's okay.
I would love Jason to
Why do you
testify.
think we're so dressed up today? We might be in court.
Jason to be a hostile witness.
Yeah, clearly.
He's here for me, and he's like, and he just turns the case on me. I'm like,
And another thing, back in 2006,
we had his Kirk Cousins bet, and it didn't go well. And
we
so-
once had this Amazon store.
So I could see how.
He's a great father, terrible business partner.
Wow.
No, it's like we've had this 50-50 custody. Or this is for me and Kelly.
Yeah.
Heather, tremendous co-parent. I've never had a problem with her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not one time with Abe and Eli. Nothing. 50-50 the whole time. We both whatever's best for the parent. For whatever reason, it's been 2
The kids,
years.
you mean.
Or yeah,
Both.
best for the
Yeah.
kids. Yes, best for the kids. And so if she needs help with something, sure. If I need help with something, or flexibility, life happens. It's never been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Never been any issues, nothing at all. And then we've been doing, for Kelly and I, we've been doing this for 2 years, 50-50 custody of Ezra, and it's, I thought, working fine, and she wants to change it. And it's like spending thousands and thousands of dollars, and it'll probably end up being the same.
And so that has to go to court and to trial.
Yeah, because the only good thing about it is that when a judge rules on it,
Mm-hmm.
then if you want to go back to court, you have to have really compelling evidence for them to even say, for them to even allow you to come back to court.
I see.
So that's the only good side. So if like what we're proposing wins,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't want to do that. Like anyway, and then it's court ordered, and so if somebody tries to challenge it, I mean, you have to like have really good, compelling evidence and stuff to change it.
Is
Otherwise,
that why sometimes we do hear in these kinds of things that some people will say, oh, they violated their custody agreement and then they
Yes.
go to jail?
they can
Is
get
that
arrested.
why?
Yeah.
Okay.
The court order is no joke, and
Understanding
so
it.
you got to be really careful what you agree to because, like, for example, might be too much, but some inside stuff I have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
The communication's not good on one side.
Mhm.
Like, so, like, I'm open. Let's talk. Let's figure things out. Text, email, call, whenever. If I want to talk to Ezra, or you want to talk to Ezra, not one time have I denied her doing that. Not one time, ever. Doesn't matter what's going on. If she wants to talk to Ezra or FaceTime, the other side, it doesn't happen. And I won't talk to Ezra for 2 or 3 days. It's whatever. So that's a pet peeve of mine. But so sometimes they offer a third-party app that goes through like the court system that a judge can have access to, like all your communication when it's like really hostile or whatever.
Oh.
The thing is, if you agree to that and a judge signs off on that, if you text them or call them at all over the next 13, 14, 15 years,
Off that thing. Off
you
that,
can be
yeah.
in violation and be in
gosh.
trouble. So you got to be very careful.
Oh, man.
That's why a lot of people, if you can co-parent, like Heather and I, we spend $1,000 in divorce. Divorce is nasty, but it wasn't actually. And in co-parent, you don't have to do all this stuff. You don't have to go to court to do this stuff. I know plenty of parents, they just agree to do certain things. And I know some people do need that protection because there are men and women out there that don't have anything to do with their kids or don't follow through with, you know, like if my day is, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday 1 week or whatever, I always do that. I don't ever just like, I'm not going to show up. And I hear people that just don't show up for their kids. You're like, really?
You don't want to be like tit for tat either. With
No.
the
No.
flexibility,
You gotta be.
the more, you know, the way you can both help. And like, I don't.
Because
you know,
life comes up too, you know. We have, especially work-wise, like what if there's business trips or whatever? Not
Yes.
just for you, but for
I've had issues
anybody.
with that. I've had
Sure.
issues with like, hey, I have this.
Yeah.
And then the person would agree, and the last minute not agree, and then you're scrambling, and then agree again at the last minute. So anyway, so I'm for let's just get along and do what's best for Ezra. We don't need to do all this. So we've spent now by the time it's all over, we've spent $50,000 each on attorneys.
Oy.
$50,000 at least.
Now, if you put the $100,000 in a mutual fund, that could have been. I mean, if you did for the kids,
I know.
you would probably have $1 million.
He'd
by
be
the
set.
He'd be set.
It's too late for that, Jason.
His college would be paid for any college in America he wants to go to.
Yeah.
But instead, just thrown away, and it's going to end up being basically the same thing we're doing. I mean, it really is going to be basically the same thing.
Do you hope you get called today so it's just over? Or do you hope
Yeah,
that...
I mean, we're ready.
Yeah.
And it's like, and this is the thing too. Like, I'm gonna have to sit on the stand or sit there and listen to their side. And my attorney said they're just going to try to make you look bad, and it's like that's nice. And so then our job is to show why we're the better parent. And it's like,
Yeah.
can we just not do that? You know, I'm not worried about it because there's nothing that I'm worried that's going to be said.
It's just not like a fun afternoon.
Yeah, it's not something you just don't know, and it's out of your control.
We
but
already do enough of that on the show.
Yeah.
Make each other look bad. So then it just continues into your personal life.
yeah, so it just to me, it's a total, complete waste of time and money.
Oh, man.
Good time.
That happens a lot
Okay.
in marriages. There's a lot of wasted money.
Tons.
That money, you know, and put you back so far. It really does. I mean, I know it's funny, but if that money was somewhere else, that money also in 15 years might be a totally different lifestyle that it turned into when you don't work anymore. You know what I mean? Or
Oh, I know.
or your kids or anything else.
Doesn't it go to show how emotions rule everything?
And ruin everything.
They
The
just
feelings are
rule it
everything.
all. Yeah.
I don't know
they
how many
are.
times I sent an email like, can we let cooler heads prevail? Because what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not in your life, you're not my life, except for Ezra, which is important. And let's just do that. You do your thing, I do my thing. And I said, and we have a model of it. Heather and I have done it. You know, I'd rather not, you know, divorce is not a good thing, but it shows it can be done. You
Well,
know?
a lot of times feelings precede facts.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes,
times. It's just,
yes, absolutely.
It dilutes them.
On all sides of it, for sure. Well, much lighter news.
So I might get a call and have to leave, is my
It's
point.
fine. It's fine. You just let us know.